Hi, my name is Erin Gaber. I'm a world champion artistic roller skater, and today in this episode we are going to be talking about scissors. All right, so let's talk about scissors, okay? Forward scissors. So unlike marching, which requires you to pick your skates up off the floor, scissors actually requires you to keep your wheels on the floor, okay? We are producing power or speed from the friction between our wheels and the floor, okay? So again, most important, keeping your wheels on the floor for scissors, opposite of marching, okay? So the scissors action starts out in a V. Okay, feet together underneath you, pointing your skates away, okay? So as always, you're gonna wanna make sure your knees are bent, your core is strong, and your arms are out for balance whenever you're learning something new, okay? Your feet are gonna start out in a V, okay? You're gonna push your pressure towards the outside of your skate to initiate this rolling action, and then you are gonna pull your skates back together by pressing on the inside edge to pull the skates back together, okay? So you want to have your toes apart again, okay? Bend your knees. You're gonna push to the outside of your skates and then transfer your weight to the inside of your foot and pull them back together. It's important, most of the time I teach my students when they're just learning this to bevel off that edge, so not so hard. You do not want your skates to come back and crash into each other, okay? So I don't want this happening, okay? Because that's gonna stop my momentum. I'm probably gonna fall down, and you don't want that. So in order to counteract that, so we're pressing out, pressing in. As they get closer together, you have to actually flatten out the press so you're not pressing so hard on the inside as they approach the width of your hips, so they will bevel out and come parallel. Okay, so they're not going to crash into each other at that point. So something I always tell my students is to scissor and roll for a second in between them. So we do a scissor action and roll before we begin another scissor. That, in my opinion, is the most important part of the scissors, because again, scissors are meant to teach you how to roll on your skates rather than a marching action, okay? So once again, we've got our skates in a V, bending our knees, core nice and strong and engaged, arms are out, okay? We're gonna press our pressure outward in our skates, then you're gonna transition, press the inside of your foot, pull those skates together, then transition less on the inside, more flat and outer to pull them back to parallel position when we roll between scissors. Then you just begin again. So you would do these continuously. So you go outside, inside, outside, inside. Okay. When you have more space, you should be able to get lots of power doing this. And as you master the general mechanics or motion of the scissor, you want to try to elongate it, use as much floor as you can. There are a few things that you want to watch out for doing the scissor. When you first start it, it's very easy to let your skates get too far apart. The further they get apart, the harder it's going to be to pull them back together. Okay, so generally what I tell my students is slightly wider than the shoulders, just a hair wider than the shoulders. You do not want them way out here. Later, as you master scissors, you can do very wide scissors, but I would not recommend that for someone just learning scissors. You want to keep those contained only to slightly wider than the shoulders. Once again, my name is Erin Gaber. Thank you so much for joining us on this tutorial going over forward scissors.